We are back to toxic Vince Russo trying to pollute the well so that he gets full power.
Well, he did make a cameo on this this month of television.
Yes, he accidentally appeared in the background of a James Mitchell pre-tape.
It was so funny.
He's just hovering there watching.
And then he just jumps out again. It's very funny.
Clearly it was intentional. It's storytelling. It's to tell us he's actually not gone. He's slowly going back.
I wish it were an angle, bro. I wish me popping out in the back of the segment was an angle, bro.
It's not a work. I wish it was a work. That's again. This is the deep story. He wants us to question what's true and untrue, Liam. That's the core.
He probably would take credit for that and be like, "Yeah, man, that was like me planting the seeds
for my eventual return." Yeah, that's the core of his storytelling, Liam. He doesn't want to let you know what's true or untrue. You live in that weird unknown world where everything is a work or nothing is a work.
Wow, it feels as if I'm an employee of TNA at the time.
So Glenn Gilberti, Vince Russo, Raven, and Mike Sanders have their little like creative trust, and they're like this clique within TNA. And then Jeff Jarrett has his own little clique within TNA because he runs the company. So
he should have a clique, to be honest.
The way the writing of the show is going at the moment is that Vince Russo writes the show like top to bottom, and then Jeff and Jerry, mostly Jeff, edits it. By the end of the month, it's like Jerry's not really in the creative window anymore. It's Jeff and Russo. Russo is always very upset because Jeff edits his work, and he's like, "You're watering down my shit, bro," and he hates it, and he's like getting in Panda Energy's people's ear, being like, "They're ruining it. They're ruining the company. If I just had full creative control, everything would be fine, bro."
Wow, what a great pal this guy is. I'm so glad I brought him into my new burgeoning company where I was gonna, because he's my friend who always treated me well. I'll bring him into my company with my dad that we both made, and we're both gonna love that we made this decision. And he would never betray me by going to the people that bought the company behind my back and trying to screw me out of my creative control.
Like, that's the thing. Like, Jeff, by all accounts, pretty much sided with Russo over his dad. And here is Russo thoroughly making him regret that decision. We've been covering this company for less than a year now. For 10 months. And for the entirety of it, Russo has just been like a toxic, corrosive backstage influence. That if he does not have complete creative control, if his ideas are not totally unfiltered and getting on the air, he throws fits, he politics, he's toxic, he cannot be worked with. And it's like, why would you hire this man? He's clearly just the root of all of the problems in your company, both creatively and politically.
He seems like a very beneficial guy to have in your backstage environment. But also, what does he really bring to the table either? Especially once you take away the whole friendship aspect.
Apparently the biggest conflict between Russo and Jerry Jarrett is that Jerry wants to book Jeff like a badass who doesn't get beaten up that often, and Russo just wants him to lose. So Jerry, Jeff cool guy, Russo, Jeff loses to the Gathering.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's the problem here. You think Jeff would be like, yeah, maybe I should side with my dad who wants to book me strong.
And we talked about it, Jerry mentioned in his book how he wants to rehab Jeff based on how much he was treated by a goof in the late days of WCW. And that's the intent behind the booking. And he's also world champion, so he should be booked strong until he loses. That's traditional pro wrestling booking where your champion looks like a badass until somebody beats him, and then that person looks like a bigger badass. But Russo's just like, well, what if he lost to Alexis Lurie and Julio De Niro?
Yeah, I expect the NWA title shots to be happening any day now.
This entire thing played out throughout the entire month as Russo and Russo supporters threw fits. Russo, it's all down to they just edit his stuff and he cannot handle it. He cannot handle being edited.
But as we've talked about before, this month was pretty good. So maybe if Russo just gets edited, his stuff is pretty good.
But that's always been the thing with Russo. It's always been this man's unfiltered creative ideas are terrible. They always have been. The dude cannot handle unfiltered creative control because he indulges his worst instincts and the shows become unbearable. But he does have creative ideas. He does have things he can input. So when it becomes all right, we're going to pick your good ideas, Vince, and shove the rest the absolute shite that doesn't understand wrestling remotely to the side. The good, thumbs up. You can have good stuff on this show, because I think this is broadly the best month creatively in TNA history so far.
It's definitely up there. Probably as like a storytelling promotion, yeah. There's probably been better wrestling months, but this is probably the best storytelling month.
And like, there's good wrestling on these shows as well, so it's not like, you know,
one of my favorite matches in company history takes place at this month.
Yeah, so it's not like it's horrible wrestling, but, you know, good angles. It's pretty good wrestling, occasionally great wrestling, and pretty good angles, occasionally great angles. None of it's like, it's not like a home run, this is the best month ever, you know, this is up there with the peak of any promotion. It's not. But in terms of TNA history so far, it's pretty darn good.
You know what the thing is, too? I bet Vince is one of these guys that, like, takes offense to his work being edited, but, like, that's a skill, too. Like, being able to take someone's unfiltered ideas and turn them into a finished, polished product is a skill and isn't something to be offended by. It happens in almost every media industry.
Yeah. It's like, do you think if you write an article for literally any media outlet ever, it's not going to be edited?
I don't know about you, but every time I put a post to Voices of Wrestling, it just goes straight up. There's not a single look over by anyone.
Anytime Rich edits a word, Liam just throws a fit. He's like, bro, You don't understand. You're killing the business.
You understand my vision, bro. I go to Garrett and I start complaining.
Bro, we've got to take over.
I start talking to Andrew Rich behind the scenes, and I'm like, bro, this Rich Craig guy, he's out of line. He doesn't understand my vision, bro.
He cannot work as part of a team. That's what becomes abundantly clear in these first 10 months, that this dude just cannot be part of a group of people doing something. It has to be him.
Maybe that's the key, you know. We've had all this talk in, 2021 about this third major promotion popping up at some point. Maybe we just need full, unfiltered Vince Russo.
That's what the wrestling world needs. I see it in my Twitter. There's a dude called, is it Chris Lomas or Lonas, who is always in my Twitter mentions and has been for like 3 years. He just pops up being like, this is nothing like the Russo days. It's like, dude, just quit wrestling.
Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. I solemnly swear that if Vince Russo opens a pro wrestling promotion in the next year, I will cover every episode of it.
Yes, it's called NXT 2.0.
Oh shit! What if he actually was?
Listen, looking at the tenor of the program, I wouldn't be entirely shocked if that was a Vince Russo joint. It has many of his trademarks.
All right, let's go. I mean, sure, why not, huh?
This is at the very least written in the inspired by Vince Russo category.
Yes, it is Vince Russo adjacent at the very least.